From giant sharks with rows full of teeth to 2,000-pound snakes, here are 10 of the most amazing historical creatures ever. Number 10. Dunkleosteus. The Dunkleosteus lived over 350 million years ago during the Devonian period. This sea creature had a powerful bite and could open its mouth quickly, even though it was known to be a very slow-moving prehistoric fish. In fact, scientists believe that the Dunkleosteus could bite down with thousands of pounds of force. On top of that, Dunkleosteus could create a vacuum with its mouth, which means that it did not have to be really close in order to eat its prey. It would open its mouth and just suck in whatever was in range. The Dunkleosteus had an armored texture and was a little over 30 feet long. It weighed between 3 to 4 tons and would be an extremely dangerous fish if it had managed to survive to today. Could you imagine? While the Dunkleosteus was found in the 1800s, the creature was not named until 1956, when it was named after David Dunkle, who was curator of the Vertebrate Paleontology at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History. It is believed that the Dunkleosteus became extinct due to a lack of oxygen in the ocean. Number 9. The Phorusrhacid. The Phorusrhacid was known as the terror bird and considered to be the largest bird in history. These birds were first discovered during the 19th century in South America. These terror birds are said to have lived anywhere from 62 to almost 2 million years ago. The most recent discovery of a Phorusrhacid bird occurred in Argentina several years ago and was about 15 million years old. The birds ranged anywhere from 3 to 9 feet tall and had a very impressive beak length at about 18 inches, and it looked like an eagle's beak. In the most recent find, a well-preserved skull and foot bones were found. Through analysis, scientists believe that the Phorusrhacid could move very quickly. Researchers also believe that it had a very flexible neck, which would have allowed it to support its big head and strike at prey quite easily. Number 8. Saccorhytus Coronarius. China is the home of what some call the oldest human ancestor, the Saccorhytus Coronarius. While this may not make much sense at first, they are classified as deuterostomes, a diverse group of vertebrates. Since this animal is said to have lived about 540 million years ago during the early Cambrian period, this means that it is the earliest known deuterostomes to date, and as a result, they are our oldest relatives. It's up to you on whether you agree with that or not. The Saccorhytus Coronarius was tiny, only about a millimeter in size, but it looked pretty frightful. It had a large round mouth with 8 openings and looked like a sack, but had no anus. Because of the size of its mouth in comparison to its body, researchers believe that the creature would have eaten food particles, if not other species. The body was covered with a thin layer of flexible skin and muscles, which would have helped it move by wiggling. The creature was analyzed through an expert team of researchers from a few different universities: the University of Cambridge in the UK, the University of Kassel in Germany, Northwest University in the States, and the University of Geosciences and Xianshu University in China. A lot of people are obsessed with this little guy. In their study, which was published in the January 2017 issue of the journal Nature, the researchers agreed that one of the most fascinating things about the Saccorhytus Coronarius is how it would have released its waste because there was no proof of an anus. According to the researchers, this means the waste would have had to come out the same way it went in. Food for thought. Number 7. The Titanoboa. Titanoboa was a slithery giant snake that lived over 60 million years ago during the Middle to Late Paleocene period. Pieces of the Titanoboa's vertebrate was found in the Cerrejón formation of the coal mines in La Guajira in Colombia. The snake was discovered by a team of scientists led by Jonathan Bloch, who works at the University of Florida as a vertebrate paleontologist, and Carlos Jaramillo, a paleobotanist who works for the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute. The Titanoboa was measured to be close to 50 feet and weighed in at about 2,000 pounds. This historic creature was known to be the largest snake to ever exist, being almost double the length of the world's giant snake today, the giant anaconda, and about 1,500 pounds heavier. The thickest part of the snake's body was nearly as high as a man's waist. It thrived in hot and humid climates, so Florida would have been perfect. Jonathan Bloch believes that the Titanoboa his team found was not even fully grown. In 2012, the Titanoboa starred in its own documentary, Titanoboa, the Monster Snake, on the Smithsonian Channel. Did any of you guys see it? And now for number 6, but first, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Let me know what you'd like to see in future videos in the comments below. Number 6. Cameroceras. The Cameroceras was first discovered by Timothy Conrad while paleontology was still early in the game during the mid-1800s. The creature was believed to be the largest of the orthocone cephalopods, which is a type of mollusk that includes the octopus. It is said to have lived over 400 million years ago during the Ordovician period. The Cameroceras had several tentacles, which would have been used to capture prey and as feelers. A hard keratinous beak was said to have been at the base of the tentacles, which would have been used to catch its prey by biting into the bodies, kind of like a squid. The Cameroceras was an odd shape, having its head in the opening of a hard cone-like shell which housed the main body. Scientists who have studied the creature believe that it may have grown up to 20 feet in length. Maybe sailors in a distant past saw one of these creatures that had survived and thought it was the Kraken. Number 5. Hurdia Victoria. While quite small, measuring only about half a meter, the Hurdia Victoria is known to be more of a monster-like creature. It lived about 500 million years ago in the Cambrian period, being first described in the early 1900s. The Hurdia is said to have had a large head for its size, with a pair of spiny claws and several teeth within its round jaw. It also had a large 3-part shell that projected out from the front of its head. Weird, huh? Analysis shows that the Hurdia's body was also covered in gills. It gained the reputation of a little monster because its body parts were often assigned to other animals. Once scientists put it together as its own species, they realized it kind of looked like a little monster. Pieces of the Hurdia are housed at the Royal Ontario Museum in Canada, where it has been reconstructed and studied. Number 4. Arthropleura. Today, the Arthropleura is thought to be one of the largest bugs to ever roam the Earth. National Geographic calls it the largest land-roaming bug of all time. This giant bug lived about 320 to 299 million years ago during the late Carboniferous period. The Arthropleura was discovered and named in the mid-19th century. Through all of the fossilized evidence that exists today on it, no mouth has ever been found, which makes scientists believe that it did not have a strong bite. However, fossilized tracks from the Arthropleura were found in Nova Scotia, which showed how it could move about quickly while avoiding obstacles. It is believed the Arthropleura ranged in length from 1 to 7 feet, with a width of up to 1.5 feet. Arthropleura was said to have had about 30 sets of legs with a long, flat body. It is believed that it was a plant-based eater and may have become extinct due to a lack of oxygen. Once the oxygen levels decreased, the Arthropleura couldn't support its large size, and therefore the creature would have evolved to a smaller size and/or died out completely. Number 3. Hallucigenia. Considered one of nature's more bizarre creatures, the Hallucigenia was named by Simon Conway Morris in 1977. Based on fossils, we knew that it had a tube-like shape, but until recently, all fossils were missing their heads and they were always described upside down. One side of its body was covered in enormous spines, and the other side had flimsy, claw-like appendages. Researchers believe that the creature used these claws to protect itself from its prey in case it decided to attack. Today, researchers know that Hallucigenia would have walked on its tentacles. However, when the Hallucigenia was first explained, it was shown that the worm-like bug walked on the spines and had one set of tentacles. It wasn't until Simon Conway Morris noticed the second set of tentacles which confirmed that the original version of the Hallucigenia was upside down. When new specimens were found in Canada, they finally found a fossil with a complete head with a tiny pair of eyes and a cheeky smile staring back at them. Inside its mouth, there was a ring of teeth, and then another set of teeth from its throat to its stomach. All in all, it was a great day for the scientists. Number 2. Quetzalcoatlus. The Quetzalcoatlus was one of the largest known flying animals in history and lived during the late Cretaceous period in North America. The Quetzalcoatlus was first named in 1975 after the mythical Aztec god Quetzalcoatl. The Quetzalcoatlus was a very large bird, which weighed about 250 to 300 pounds. However, more recent reports say the bird could have weighed around 400 pounds. It was about 18 feet long and had a wingspan of around 30 feet or more. While the Quetzalcoatlus was known to be a gigantic bird-like animal, scientists are not sure if this bird even flew at all. There are reports that say if the Quetzalcoatlus did fly, it would have had to use both its front and back legs to take off, while other scientists believe that the gigantic bird was actually too large to fly. Number 1. Megalodon. Today, the Megalodon is categorized as an extinct shark. According to studies, the Megalodon went extinct about 2.5 million years ago, but lived during the early Miocene to the end of the Pliocene periods. The Megalodon was thought to be the biggest shark ever with the strongest bite. The length of the Megalodon was said to be anywhere from 40 to 70 feet. Scientists believe that the Megalodon looked similar to the great white shark, but the jaws would have been wider and the fins would have been thicker. Not much has been found relating to the Megalodon except for some of the shark's teeth, which measured at about 7 inches. Scientists believe that the Megalodon had a couple hundred teeth in rows of about 4 to 5. The Megalodon's teeth also suggest that the shark would have eaten larger prey, which would have been about the size of dolphins. Scientists believe that because the Megalodon ate such large prey, there became competition with food, which essentially led to the Megalodon's extinction. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and see you next time. Have a great day. Bye!